Hey everyone, this is Nick LaRue from FilmSnobbery. I am here down in Jacksonville, Florida at the Jacksonville Film Festival, and I'm interviewing filmmakers as one does. And who am I here with today?
My name is Steven Nye, and I'm the director of Losing Grip, which is a feature-length documentary playing here at the festival.
Well, for the folks at home who are not here to watch it, tell us a little bit about Losing Grip.
For sure. So it follows my gymnastics teammate. His name is Shane Wiskus, and I'm originally from Minnesota, and I used to train with him. And I started to get more into filmmaking as I got too tall for gymnastics because good gymnasts are very short, and sort of shifted into filmmaking. And Shane was a very talented gymnast, and I followed his journey all the way to the Tokyo Olympics. And that's kind of where the documentary sort of ends. And so that was in 2021. And did several interviews with coach's family, him, and he's actually still training for the upcoming Paris Olympics. So I'm still documenting him. But this is sort of his journey all the way till 2021 is when I wrapped production.
So, I mean, good for you, filmmaking, no height requirement. Okay, this is not like going on a roller coaster, although it is also kind of like a roller coaster ride. A lot of ups and downs on it. So, what was it about this person in particular you said that made you say, I think this is the documentary right here, like this is where the story is?
So it actually starts sort of with his dad, Michael Wiskus. I was connected through Shane because I was getting to film, and Michael Wiskus is a retired stunt pilot, and I worked with him for a number of years, traveling to air shows and filming with him, and he actually is one of my greatest mentors. And so it's sort of a family dynamic because there's a lot of similarities between Mike, his dad, who does all these flips in the air as a stunt pilot, and then Shane doing all these flips in gymnastics. And so there's a close family dynamic, as well as like a very strong danger aspect to the film because it's a pretty dangerous sport. And I wanted to show that in the documentary. It shows that not everything's easy. There's many challenges that he faces.
So, talking about challenges, obviously, talk about the danger inherent there in both of those different things. What are some of the challenges, though, in getting this film made? Is this your first film that you've tried to make?
This is my first feature documentary. I've made a handful of shorts. I graduated from the University of Tampa with a BFA in film, so I made a number of short films, but this is by far like the largest film that I've made. There were several challenges specifically with filming in the time of COVID. Basically everything got paused because my original goal was I had kind of this archive of when I was filming him as a young guy, middle school, high school. So I have this sort of archive, but then I really wanted to my dream was like to go to Tokyo and film with him at the Olympics. But everything got pushed back a year. So everything kind of was put on pause and kind of just did several Zoom and FaceTime calls with him. And essentially everything got pushed back, and then I didn't have access to film him for a while. So that was probably one of the greatest challenges.
Hold on a second, I'm going to just pause up. So you talk about losing access for a little bit of time. Were you worried that, kind of as you were getting back into things that some of the footage wouldn't really match because, people age over time and, it's just the priority shift at all of the story after or during COVID?
Definitely. So when I was a freshman at the University of Tampa, and I met one-on-one with one of my professors who's done a number of feature documentaries, and he helped me a lot with the production side, producing the film. And he actually recommended I submit to the Jacksonville Film Festival because he's shown a film here before, so that's how I got connected here. And sort of when I first went to him with this idea, it was like, I have this teammate, he's pretty good, he might go to the Olympics, but there wasn't really much of a story. It was just kind of like, yeah, he's pretty good, and I'm following him. But the real interesting conflict happened when COVID happened because everything got shut down. He was training at the University of Minnesota, and they cut the men's gymnastics program 10 months before he went to the Olympics, kind of because of COVID and teams were dropping, and the film goes more in depth onto that. But he moved to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs and trained there for the Olympics. And so access was very challenging because I was in Tampa and he was training there. And so I just was able to film when I could with him. And then going back to your question about sort of filming over such a long period of time, when I first started with him, like I barely knew anything about film, and I was using like very, low end cameras, and the actual quality of the film progresses as time goes on because I was learning more about film. And so basically the end interviews, sort of basically the last year of production, is a much higher quality film than like when I was first starting to film with him. And even now looking back at it, because I basically wrapped production almost 3 years ago, there's like even things now that I would do differently than when I was filming it there. So it's kind of his gymnastics is progressing, my filmmaking was progressing as time went, and I think it shows a nice sort of documentary over the course of the years as things get more recent.
Well, let's shift gears over, talk about the film festival a little bit. So obviously you submitted and you are now here at the Jacksonville Film Festival. What is it about Jacksonville that was like, oh, I think I'm gonna submit my film here?
So I've been to the city twice before and enjoyed it. It's a beautiful place. It's only like a 3.5 hour drive from Tampa where I am. So it's pretty local, and there seems to be a lot of arts and entertainment and thriving sort of community here, especially with film. It seems like that is really cool to see.
And I noticed that you brought some folks here with you. Are these your folks? And if so, do we also just call them the executive producers, i.e. the financiers here, or what is their role here?
So I'm here with my parents. My dad actually is an executive producer on the film, and my mom was a location manager of the film. She gives herself the term Sherpa because she would just carry my bags.
Fantastic. That's great to have. It's actually fairly rare to have parents that are very supportive of children in the arts, because it is such a difficult and unsure kind of path forward, and it's always great when I see the parents show up for stuff like that, it's really interesting that you also got to work with them. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah. I would ask, actually, what are some of the big misconceptions about the sport that keep people from competing, keep people from joining, keep people from getting to that Olympic level?
That's a good question. So one of the biggest challenges, so men's gymnastics is a dying sport, particularly because at the start of the film, there were 15 schools remaining in the U.S. that have a men's Division I gymnastics program, and 3 schools were cut, so it was like down to 12 schools. And so the number has significantly declined over the years, so there's not as many male gymnasts who, younger guys, because I was young, I started gymnastics when I was 2, and there just really aren't that many older guys doing gymnastics. All you see are the Olympic team, and that's basically the extent of men over the age of 18 basically doing gymnastics. And so gymnastics has really significantly helped my life, both in just physical, knowing how to move your body and fall safely and things like that, and also just mental challenges and being able to time manage very well, because I was training like 5 or 6 days a week, and also being in school and getting all your homework done is huge time management. So there are a lot of very valuable skills that I learned that I think are valuable for future generations.
Do you see yourself sticking within the documentary genre going forward, or do you see yourself eventually trying to branch out to narrative features or narrative shorts, or do you see yourself sticking in and around the Florida area, maybe like Orlando or something like that, trying to work for the studio, like Universal or something over there, or do you see yourself eventually making the long trek west out to sunny Hollywood? Where do you see yourself in a few years?
So I love documentary. Right now, I started my own film production company. I do mostly commercial film in Tampa, social media, and also horizontal for websites and different companies. But I do enjoy documenting the stories that you're able to tell, and I especially find true stories to be just absolutely fascinating. So I love to continue doing documentary. I am still following Shane as he continues with this story. But down the road, I do see myself doing more narrative projects, and I don't know, maybe one day LA.
No, and the commercial stuff is actually really smart. And a lot of the folks that I know that are actively and sustainably making films are doing it because they're able to earn a living by doing like commercial shoots and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's definitely smart to have also that business background a little bit because most filmmakers don't treat their films like a business. So I think having that level of responsibility is also fantastic. Obviously going to school for film, did you feel that the school prepared you for a career in the industry, or that there were gaps that you needed to fill in yourself on that?
So specifically with this documentary, Losing Grip, I did 3 independent studies with Christopher Bolton, my professor, and then also I did a summer undergraduate research fellowship where they give funding. Primarily, it's meant for science and those types of research programs, which I didn't. When I first heard about it, I thought this documentary probably wouldn't apply or receive funding, but my professor suggested that I submit to it, and they actually approved it. And so I got a fair amount of resources from my school, and also like the equipment cage to use cameras and things, a fair amount of help with creating this documentary, which certainly has helped my career move forward in this sense. And then also a lot of more technical and classes on producing and editing and stuff like that has definitely helped. But then post-grad, a lot of learning is just sort of on your own. I have several close friends who do very similar film things, and we're always learning from each other and testing out different equipment and, things like that. So,
well, I mean, I'd say best of luck to you for your screening, and thank you so much for sitting down to speak with me, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of your time here at the Jacksonville Film Festival.
Thank you very much.